Hi, I'm Grace Baroni, and welcome to Conversations with the ERC5. Today, my guest is Josh Ross from Heartland. I'm so excited to have him with us today. Josh, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Grace. I'm very glad to be here with you.
This is very exciting because I was just thrilled when we first connected to learn about all the other things. Like, I thought I knew what you did, and there's so much more to it. So let's begin. But let's start, because I really love your family connections, how you're so in tune with being local and supporting the local businesses and raising your family here. So share a little bit of that with us, because I think that's so important.
Yeah, absolutely, Grace. And first, I also want to offer a thank you to you for having me on and, all the work that the ERC5 is doing, because community is so important.
Absolutely.
And, for me, I actually grew up in Berkshire County. I lived out in West Stockbridge, Great Barrington, Pittsfield. I met my wife there, and grew up. And then life, continued and took us to Longmeadow, where we relocated in 2018. So we've been there for about 6 years. And, it's just been such a wonderful place to raise our kids. We have 5 children, and God bless my wife.
They'll keep you busy.
They certainly do. But it gives you sort of a perspective on, okay, we're living here, we're a part of this community. My children are growing up here. These businesses that we're interacting with, they're really helping the community thrive. And how can I, in what I do, help them continue to grow, continue to be profitable, and continue to help their families. And ultimately, that's what my mission is. I'm, as you mentioned, division manager for Heartland, and we really dive in with local businesses to help them with payment systems and point of sale. And there's a lot that goes into that. But again, I think it's something that people sort of take for granted that every business needs.
Right.
And so they just don't think about, okay, if I need this, well, what really is behind it all? And do I have what's actually best for my own business?
Mm-hmm. And that's what all resonated for me as someone who had her own business many years ago. It's like, oh, I have somebody to process my credit card, but I never saw that person. I didn't know who that person was. And now here we are, many years later. And that is so important because this is our community. This is where we choose to raise our children, our grandchildren. And we want to make sure that we know the folks that are delivering the services that are so crucial to us. That matters. It's very important to me, and I'm sure it's important to many others. So I loved your story and the fact that you're raising your family here. This is home.
Yeah, it really is. And, again, that's part of how we take a very different approach than most in the payment processing industry, if you will, in that we hire local relationship managers who live in the community and who are accountable, right? Because let's face it, a lot of people, when they hear the words credit cards and they think about, the fees they get charged, and, obviously Visa and MasterCard are very big businesses and they have a certain amount they charge, but it's also a very confusing industry, and people don't realize, what all goes behind the scenes. What is a legitimate fee? What is not? And what we do with our approach is, because we live here in the community, because we're accountable for our clients that we bring on board and we're checking in with them, we're making sure that things are running correctly, we're guaranteeing the work that we do. Those kinds of things have an impact, because now, rather than just getting something set up and having to call an 800 number, you call somebody that lives and is 30 minutes away, 5 minutes away. Let me come help you in your business with whatever's going on. And that is such a different approach than what people typically see when they think about credit card processing.
Absolutely. And again, I'm just deferring back to when I did that and needed services. And it was just like one fee, you're done, that's it. And it has really evolved depending on your type of business, product that you're selling, if you're selling wholesale or retail,
Correct,
right?
yeah.
All of that comes into play when you're establishing your fees and what plan is best for you.
For sure. And, I don't want to bore all the podcast listeners with, a bunch of the jargon, but really looking at it from the perspective, there are the major card brands out there, your Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, and there's certain percentages that they charge for the privilege of their card being used, right? And, it's all great. I mean, I'll be one to admit that I have a Marriott Rewards card and I like those points, and I took my family to vacation, in Florida with those points. So it's great, but who ultimately pays for those things now that those cards and there's, 500 different rewards, and what can you do? Well, the business owner is essentially supplementing those charges, and there are ways in which, depending on the business, like you mentioned, wholesale, right? Business to business transactions, where Visa and MasterCard obviously want to incentivize people, business owners, to use their cards with other business owners. Well, how do they do that? They say, okay, well, I'm going to offer you a lower rate to do those card transactions versus paying with a check, because again, it's beneficial for them and their business.
Right.
And some processing companies don't make their clients aware that those discounts are an option. We at Heartland pass those things along automatically to our clients because we feel that long-term relationship is better than short-term profits by not giving them what they're due. Same thing falls in the realm of debit cards. There is laws that Congress passed to help limit what Visa and MasterCard can charge for certain debit cards. Not every processor will pass along those savings to the merchants, the business owners that they're working with. We will automatically do so. And so I think that, again, there's so much nuance to it. It really just comes down to people being willing to have a conversation with somebody who, again, is in an industry that's very confusing and people feel taken advantage of by.
And that's why I was just so excited that you were coming on the podcast, because I know, like, again, I thought I knew what was involved and so forth, but every time I speak to you, I have a great takeaway. I learn something new, and it's like, oh, that's so great to know, because for your small business owner, all the, a percentage here, a percentage there, it adds up, and
it
it
sure
makes
does.
all the difference in the world. So having someone that's local and you can call, I have a question, Josh, does this qualify me for something else? It's just, I think the information you provide for our small business owners and larger businesses as well, but it's so impactful, and it can make a difference in your bottom line and in the services you're offering.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that you are here today and you can share with us about Heartland. Give us a little bit about what you can help with, and then they can call you. But you also do more than just credit card processing.
Yes, that's true.
And that's another great thing.
Yeah. Well, really, we look at it as, providing solutions for business owners. And so, what does that have to do? Well, from the processing standpoint, it's money coming in, right? Revenue that they're earning, and making sure that they're keeping as much of it as possible. When it comes to what we also offer, we do help with payroll services as well. And obviously that's money going out, but it's, for quality employees, and, you're happy to do so. But there, again, the approach that we do, we proactively help screen for certain tax credits. We also help reduce the cost for folks, if they're posting jobs, hopefully they're doing it locally and they're, listing things on local job boards. But if you're using a program like Indeed or ZipRecruiter or LinkedIn or wherever they're posting jobs, we have the ability to help them be able to share to all those job boards with one single post, and we don't charge extra for that, right? So we're able to do that and reduce the per-click cost that they have if they were to post on each of those websites individually. So it's not only a time savings, it's a cost savings as well.
Yeah.
So,
well, and the time saved when, when you're that sole business owner, or you've, got a smaller business, and you're wearing all these hats. You can't be an expert in everything. And sometimes you're just thinking to yourself, wow, if I could just get a little more extra time in my day, you come in and you can provide that. Because again, payroll, that's just one more
Right.
thing that you now don't have to, have on the table.
Correct.
And that opens up your time to other things.
100%.
And that's invaluable.
And it's, also for us from that relationship standpoint, if you're as a business owner working with a CPA that you really like and enjoy, we can help provide some of that reporting that's coming from what are you actually processing, or what does your payroll look like, and work directly with your CPA to make sure they have the information that they need to make sure that they know, that the business is functioning well, right? So again, it's just all about communication. It's all about being local and making sure that they as a business owner feel informed and know what's actually going on in their business.
And you are definitely right here in the community, and you are very accessible. Before we go, though, can you share with us like one of your success stories? Because you've got a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to kind of wrap up for today.
Yeah.
And then you can share with our audience how they can get in touch with you. But one great story.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually have two great stories that I'll
yay.
share with you very
Okay.
quickly. So the first one was, again, just thinking about the extreme cost of doing credit card acceptance. And we were working with a local convenience store owner. And obviously that's a lot of really small, fast transactions. And because the majority of what he was accepting was debit cards, we actually reduced his spend from around $1,600 a month to $900 a month. So we got him back $700 a month in savings, again, literally just by, showing him what was actually having that consultation. And then the second one was actually this past week of a client that I've been working with for some time. And he had an issue where he thought the credit card terminal wasn't working correctly. And so he called me up and said, hey, I can't accept any credit cards. What's going on here? So I was over there in 20 minutes and I took a look, and turned out it was actually the internet in his building, not actually our credit card terminal. But I drove to Walmart and I was able to help him get some equipment that he needed to get his internet back up and running. It's not in the job description, but again, as a relationship manager, we're trying to make sure that businesses go well. We're there to support them and actually provide that extra level of support. So
that's awesome. Thank you. Now, what's the best way for our business owners out there who are thinking, I need to talk to Josh?
Yeah.
What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So you can find us online by going to our website. It's heartland.us. But that will give you sort of general approach, an overview of the business. The best way to get in touch with me directly is either via phone, and they can call me, text me, whatever, 413-464-3651, or they can send me an email, which is joshua.ross@e-hps.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks for making time for us, because I think this is really important information for our businesses that are out there, small businesses, service businesses. Saving a few dollars, it adds up. It goes a long way. And again, just giving us that extra time and being there to answer the call when we're in distress.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Josh. Thank you. And thank you for joining us for Conversations with the ERC5. If you'd like to be the next guest here at Stonegate Studios in Wilbraham, go to our website, erc5.com, and you can sign up there.